You're watching CK Media's CK News with me, Charles Kane. And today, we're talking about councils and how they spend taxpayers' money. People often complain about how much money is just vanishing from the economy. And I think there is a certain hole here that isn't really a massive topic, but we're going to talk about it today.
Can I say hello?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Hello, sweetie. You want to say hello? Oh, you're a nice little thing, aren't you? Yeah, very nice. See you. Okay, bye-bye. Come on, swing your little tail. No? Oh, dear. Never mind.
So yeah, as of December 2017 till last December of 2018, councils have spent £1.8 billion of taxpayers' money buying retail centres, shops and offices in a chance to replace direct income from the government itself. Some of these councils, like the one I'm standing outside of today, Spelthorne, have spent multiples of their annual income on these types of investments. And how do they get this money, you might ask? Part of the Treasury, known as the Public Loans Works Board, have given these councils large wonder loans that they've then used that money to spend on these retail investments. And why are these wonder loans, you might ask? Well, first of all, there's no limit to how much they can borrow. Number two, they don't have to prove that they can afford to pay the loan back. Reason number three, they can borrow at historically low fixed interest rates. This council, Spelthorne, which is in Surrey, have an annual net income of 22 million. However, as of 2013, they have spent over 600 million. Their income over those past 6 years would have only covered 132 million. And that should have paid for everything in the council, including the fire, the education and everything. But they've spent 600 million from these loans on buying investments. Most of which aren't even in this country. The council have said that they rely heavily on investment income to fund their projects, to fund themselves. However, the Bureau of Investigative Journalism found that 80% of their investments were in fact outside of the country. They're not even funding into Surrey. They're not even funding into this country. They're funding, who knows, could be Bulgaria. I don't know. You tell me. They don't declare where they've invested it. And Spelthorne, they're not the only ones that are doing these large investments in other places. For instance, Hertfordshire spent 17.2 million on a site that was owned by Tesco's. That's all the way over in Grimsby. I mean, if you have a look at the map, this is where Hertfordshire is and this is where Grimsby is. Why so far? Lord Oakeshott of Seagrove Bay, chairman of Olim Property, said that councils use taxpayers' money, that's you, paying income tax and council tax, to purchase rubbish assets. It's the taxpayer that suffers these losses. And it's not only that, it's the districts themselves. The Councillor of Surrey announced early in 2018 that there would be massive budget cuts in really important sectors. For instance, the amount spent on children, schools and families was cut by 25 million, the budget for the schools and families. That budget is the money for the special needs children, the people with disabilities, the people with the special learning help, they get the budget slashed. So what does that mean? That means the kids in school, they're suffering because of it. Because these chaps want to buy a Tesco's Extra. And it's not only that, adult social care was reduced by 18 million. Fire and rescue budget, which is an extremely important fund, it was cut by 11 million, nearly 12 million. I mean, some councils go even as far as cutting out bin collections. I mean, this is far away. This is in Wales, we're talking about, in Conwy. But they've reduced their bin collections once every 2 weeks to now once every 4 weeks, saving them £400,000. But I mean, that's a massive inconvenience for the people who live there. They've even had to hire people from Manchester to come and collect their bins, called Binzilla, for £9 a week. £9 a week to collect your bin privately. I mean, imagine if you'd have to call private fire services to come and spray your home when you're on fire. Imagine that. Just think about that for a minute. When there's 11 million cut from the budget, that's not too crazy a possibility. I mean, people are already going for private healthcare. Dr. Steve Norris, head of regeneration, retail and town centre consultancy at Carter Jonas, that was a mouthful. He's the chap that advises these councils on their investments. He said that this idea is born fundamentally out of a deep desire to improve and help the struggling town centres in England. He said that the acquisition of these assets is only the first step into the regeneration of the town, and that more needs to be done. More needs to be done to fully realise the investment potential and to deliver long-term social benefits. I mean, it is true that the towns are suffering, and to buy some of these shops, it could fund income into the town from shops that are needed, such as Tesco's, which, it's not going to go away anytime soon. Everybody needs the food. So it's not a bad investment per se. But massively overpaying for them like that, out of the taxpayers' money, without even any sort of cut given to them, because it's taxpayers' money, is a bit fishy. Why are they paying so much for it? I mean, this is just my opinion. Paying so much, and for the hopes of getting more money, for what? To help these people in their issues like fire and education and stuff. But then at the same time, you're also cutting their funding to supply these loans. It doesn't add up. It seems very fishy. So I'd like to know what you think about it. Leave your comments down below. As always, subscribe, and thanks for watching. This is CK Media, out.